Another video showing Appalachian Power's replacing all these power poles and lines. Now they're coming up past my property. They went up Stadium Drive and Lincoln Street and Fayette Street and down Hammy Streets. Now they're coming down South Mill Lane and Brown Street and Delaware Street and West Virginia Street, 2nd Street. Yeah, I know not all the ones in Brown Street is going to replace because the two past here is not that old. This one here is like rotten and ready to fall apart. They're getting ready to replace it. Most of the walk will be next week while I'm out of town. I'll be out of town when they're doing most of this walk through here, which is funny. They get to the point where they're going right past my property that I own in my land here. I'm going to go up towards 2nd Street for this video. Trains going by and I think they stopped again. See what they're doing, switch and moves. A week ago, the Appalachian Power guys tell me they're not replacing this pole because it's green, it's not that old. Couple days ago they put this mark here, LOC, locate. That means they are, because all the poles they put this on they're replacing. I think they're replacing a lot more than this does, because and they're replacing the next one over, and I don't know if they're replacing these two or not. They just recently replaced that and straight back, just like this past week, and that's when the guy said, oh, we're not replacing this pole here. Then they come and mark it for replacement. Yeah, they're replacing the pole in front of my old house too, where I used to live. I used to live right over here. Now I live on Broad Street, which is 2 streets over from my property. Well, 2 streets, I own the property on Broad Street and I own this. So Broad Street's 2 streets over from here. Yeah. I say they won't post all the time out of town. Go down to Hickory, North Carolina for a few days, so I'll get some interesting videos there. But they're finally replacing this pole and that pole back there. I don't know about these up here. Probably. It's a red and black cat laying there. We'll probably take off running when I get close to her. I don't know if they're replacing that or not. I think they're replacing a lot. They're coming up 2nd Street. I'll probably keep filming until I get up here where the train's at. Why not? I'm sure they're going to get that one too, but that one's not marked. Okay, that one's not marked. Not all these are marked. Even though they're replacing them, they're not everyone's marked, but they're replacing most of the ones on Delaware Street. Delaware Street, they're not replacing that many because half the ones in Delaware Street are new, so most of the ones on South Mill Lane and most of the ones here on 2nd Street is being replaced. And about half of them on Brown. Actually, most on Brown Street, there's only 2 of the ones on Brown Street are newer from not that many years ago. They're supposed to start behind the community center, get those 2 poles, come back here, go up over the hill on 2nd Street, but then they'll have another crew working on the poles behind all these houses and buildings. I don't know if this pole's on the list or not. It's not marked. This may not be on the list. I've noticed they don't mark every pole that they replace. I've noticed that. I've been watching where they go down the streets here in town. I've noticed they'll mark some of them, but then they'll go replace like this whole entire streets of them. I gotta talk. Come on. Okay. That was very weird. I think is that Theron? Okay, I think that's Theron, and we'll turn around and go talk to him for this. Yep, the train's sitting there doing the switch and moves. If I wished I was very soon, I could have gone and blown the horn at the crossing. I know if you've seen some older videos that I've done where replacing the poles, Stadium Drive is on the other side of the rail crossing, so it's Lincoln Street. Lincoln Street's the one that goes up over the hill in front of the grade school, in front of the elementary school. For the people that's familiar here, it's the one directly in front of the school. The next one over is Mound Street. I'm going to go home here in a minute. I know they're going to start back there walking. I'll go ahead and walk back there. See where they stopped. They actually went behind. They stopped behind the Western Search and they went up the other way for a ways. Now they're going back here. Because there's where they were walking. They went behind the Western Search up Stadium Drive. They went down Lincoln Street, Fayette Street. I'm trying to remember every street. Well, there's a couple streets I'm not sure the names of that they were up. Yeah, but I have to make. Oh well. But here's the back side. Oh, and they're replacing those two. Those two are not that old, so those two are probably just string the new wire and tie the brand new wire into the poles. It's not that old. Maybe a few of those reducers. I do know they're going all the way through, all the way up and over, all the way, because 2nd Street's over here, and then Delaware Street straight back on the other side of Philby. You have to go down the hill to get to Delaware Street in South Mill Lane, because South Mill Lane and Delaware Street connect at the West Virginia Street Bridge. It's interesting because you go down to the bridge that crosses where West Virginia Street crosses over. Both streets connect there, and on the side of the West Virginia Street Bridge my property's on South Mill Lane. The opposite side is Delaware Street, something like that. Oh wait, maybe it's all. I still remember how the streets go, but I'm a little confused when I try to think about it. And I've lived here my whole life, and I still get a little confused about the street names. That's the funny part.